I barely made it. How you doing there? Greetings. I kind of like to always rant about teachers and education systems. A good teacher is probably one of the rarest things in the world, and as the old saying goes, those who can't teach. That's usually the case. Everybody in the United States and kind of in the world, to a greater degree, is bemoaning the fact that teachers don't want to go back to work. And I'm not going to discuss the current situation in the world about why teachers are 99% lazy and useless. I know they're not paid that much. At least American teachers are not paid that much. And to be honest, nothing shy of probably 95% of them are not even worth what little they're paid. And I hate to say that, but it's true. I didn't learn anything in school. I spent my time teaching myself. I recognized from a very early age, very early, that these teachers don't know anything. They're just having us read garbage and regurgitating filth and doing multiple guess tests. You know, choose from A through D. You know, what's the multiple guess? You go home and memorize chapters 1 through 3. We're going to have a test on. All this does is it just makes a life of drones, and there's a whole history behind the education system of making these brainless drones that you know, believe that filling their head with useless empirical facts. Most of them are useless. There's a lot of shows, and they're kind of comic, and they've been going on now for well over a decade, and it's kind of funny. People will confront people on college campuses, and they'll ask them really simple questions like, when was the Revolutionary War? And, you know, these college-educated people will say something, oh, the Revolutionary War, that was like in the 1920s. You know, just incredibly stupid, just unbelievably dumb. I have a lot of people that tell me that their kids are doing a whole lot better reading the books that I'd recommended, because an education is not about indoctrination. It's about having the skills to spontaneously generate answers and to problem solve. And memorization is not learning, and it's not an education at all. Aristotle used to be a teacher, and the wisest and the best would have their children learn under Aristotle. If you were rich in the Middle Ages and you wanted your child to have a true education, they learned Plato, the works of Plato and Aristotle, and they learned the methodology, true scientific methodology. And that was not only based in physics, but also, too, metaphysics. I'm not discussing metaphysics in this video, but the only thing you have to have is a desire to learn and a library card. Schools and teachers are for people who, I don't want to say lesser minds, but essentially it is. These people indoctrinate you. They don't teach you how to do anything. Even if you don't want to work with your hands, the actual practice of building things and constructing things develops a certain level of the consciousness of a human being that all the study in the world and all the degrees in the world, you know, will not teach you. Tesla and all the people, they build a lot of stuff themselves. Building things lets you see multidimensionally, and that actually expands your mind way more than all the study in the world. You know, I have a house that's basically a library, and not only that, I have 13 terabytes of books. I've also, too, spent decades looking for the rarest books and scanned them in, most of which are available now out there on the web, thanks to me. You know, really, really rare stuff. But I build a lot of stuff. Right behind this camera is this $3,000 sewing machine. I've always built stuff. I know I have a little lab in the basement where I build and do things and experiment. I was brought up to, junk was brought in from the IBM trash can where they'd actually throw in like broken or damaged IBM. And I went to town with a screwdriver on taking this stuff apart, learning how it works. And that is way better than all the classes in the world. This kind of sounds silly, but one of the best things you could do for a child or someone that's trying to learn is to, pick up dead laptops and computers and, set yourself down with a pair of screwdrivers. Take stuff apart, learn how stuff is made, how it's put together. Creativity blooms when it comes to constructing things, to tinkering and having these multidimensional ideas, all the book learning in the world. And memorization pales at a far inferior level to building and constructing things. I love building stuff. I've built and constructed a lot of stuff with my hands, a lot. So I'm not just like some nerdy bookworm that's sitting behind a computer. Obviously, I do get fat behind the computer, and I go through a lot of books, but you only have to have the desire to learn and a library card. I have the luxury of being near a university library, and you also, too, have to have the discernment. You have to have a primer within your head to recognize trash from treasure. I could pick up a brand new book, and literally within a matter of a minute or less, flipping through the pages and seeing if there's any footnotes, the footnotes are any good, and reading a passage or two, whether the book is trash or treasure. Some people amazes me. They'll pick up, well, that's an interesting title, and they'll start reading it. And, they'll get like halfway through the book or all the way through the book. Like, well, that wasn't very good and wasn't that smart. So he just wasted an enormous amount of time. I can reject books literally in a matter of a minute. When I go to the university library, which I do all the time, I'll open up new academic books, and I'll find out very, very quickly, usually within a minute or less, sometimes 20 seconds. If the book is, 30% or less good, unintelligent one, it takes me 20 seconds to reject the book. Okay, I'll move on to the next one. And by doing so, time is valuable, of course. Here's something, this is my favorite book in the world. Now, this is not a complete translation. This is the most prolific ancient Greek translator of all time. It's Thomas Taylor. It's the Select Works of Plotinus. It's not complete at all. Thomas Taylor's volumes would stack up about 7 feet tall of all the... him and his wife would actually converse in Greek. Very, very intelligent person. But if somebody has, this book, they give this to a child. At what age? It depends on how intelligent they are, what their vocabulary is, but I'm guessing somewhere around 12 or 13 years old. Memorization and learning stuff not only is not an education, but time being valuable. Wouldn't you want your child or yourself, to feed upon the stuff that spontaneously generates creativity and intelligent, logical thinking? Wouldn't you want that? I can always tell, too, what somebody knows by the books they recommend. If I were a major employer, I wouldn't even need to see their resume. I would just say, what's the most intelligent book you've ever written? Not your favorite book or entertaining book. What's the most intelligent thing you've ever read? And depending on the answer, like, yeah, no thank you, we don't want you working here. It's really easy to determine that, because you always know people by what they praise. And if they praise trash, then their understanding is trash. Well, what's the best thing you've ever read? They'll mention some sort of trash book. It's like, that's the best thing you've ever read. Yeah, it's really good. Really? I hate to say this too, but people are a little better than the stuff that they praise. If they praise filth and trash, then their understanding and comprehension can't be better than filth or trash, because that's the stuff that they think is best. I can't fault them for it ultimately. They may find the right way, but once people are set in their way by the age of 20 or so, it's all over with, really. Someone actually has to have a burning desire to learn and understand the nature of the world, the universe, to a greater or lesser degree. And education does not give you that, not high school or college. Indoctrination and having your head filled with trash. This Henry Ford, we're going to make a mindless automaton to work on the line producing widgets. That's all education does. Nobody should go to college, too, unless they want to become a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer. You just should not. 95% of college is just trash designed to get your money. They're paper mills for producing diplomas, or what they do is produce highly educated idiots. They're not actually educated. What they are is indoctrinated. This is the reason why, and I've said it 1,000 times, that the most evil people on earth are highly educated, or not really educated, but highly educated fools. That's undeniable. Always the case. Nobody gets suckered in by a fool, an unwise fool. They get suckered in by a highly intelligent, someone that's able to regurgitate a bunch of facts. These are the same people that know the cost of everything and the value of nothing. But you should be feeding your mind and that of your child stuff like Plotinus, Proclus, Iamblichus, Numenius, Syrianus, even Aristotle. I'm not a fan of Aristotle, but what it does is it turns your mind into a type of spontaneous thought processor, where you're able to think deeply about, because that's all life is wisdom and problem solving. And if you could think multidimensionally, and this is why building stuff and creating stuff and being able to fix things and tear things apart and know how things work makes you so much better of a person. You don't learn that in school. You just don't. You don't learn that in school. A real school would have like 3 or 4 classes. Just 3 or 4. No homework. Don't need homework. Unless it would be like you'd take junk laptops, like something failed on it, and the class would be to tear it apart, and everybody would get around and look at it, and they'd tear their own computer, a little laptop apart. Like, what does this do? What does this part do? Well, this is what that is, and that's how that works. That is way better than, telling kids to go home and read a bunch of garbage, and we're going to memorize it and have a test tomorrow. That's not an education. That doesn't expand someone's mind. It doesn't turn them into a creative individual. All schools do is they burn people out with garbage and filth. Memorize this garbage. We're going to have a test tomorrow. They try to pigeonhole everybody. They try to kill off creativity. They kill off spontaneous thought genesis, if there was one to begin with. Schools do nothing but harm people. That's all they do. It's like, well, are you against education? No, but that's not education. That's turning somebody into a fool, a mindless drone who's able to regurgitate information that they don't understand. There's the old saying, words don't cook rice. That's an old Chinese saying. A drawing of a hamburger doesn't feed anybody. That's why schools and colleges spit out these useless individuals that don't even know how to use a hammer. They don't know how to do anything. They spent their lives popping caffeine pills, memorizing junk, taking tests. Well, you got an A on the test. You're good, Johnny. Yay! You're gonna... You can't memorize wisdom or true intelligence. Regurgitating facts is no different than your stupid iPhone when you ask it a question. It's not education. If you have a kid, and I wished I had kids, give them the right stuff that's actually going to grow their brain, like Plotinus, Numenius, Syrianus. Give them a screwdriver set, one of those little fancy cases that has the little fine screwdrivers in it. Give them like dead laptops that you can get for free. And have them take them apart. Figure things out. All sorts of stuff to take apart. That develops a part of the mind that is never taught in high school or college or anywhere else in an education system. That's not education. All these people are so pissed off that these lazy, useless, pathetic teachers don't want to go back to work because they're too lazy. They say they're scared, but what they are is lazy. The only thing you need to have is the will to learn and a library card. That's all you need. You don't need these pathetic teachers. You don't. They're useless. All they do is they crush out people's souls and their creativity. That's not education at all. It's the opposite of an education. It's the filth dreamt up by Henry Ford and these other industrial society fools that wanted to produce, you know, people that were smart enough to be able to screw widgets together on the assembly line. That's why society is so dumb and useless. That's why everybody's believing propaganda and nonsense, and the whole world is just running around, you know, eating, sleeping, breathing stupidity. I was in the line of Costco, and there was a chick in front of me with 2 face diapers on. I said, "Hey, let me ask you a question." And I said, "You have a problem breathing with those 2 face diapers on?" She's, "Yeah, go get a headache later today." "Oh, you get a headache, do you, when you wear 2 of those?" "Yeah, I do." I wanted to say, "See, you're cutting off the oxygen to your brain." Yeah, he said, I didn't say that. It's like, okay. Then I rolled my eyes and I laughed a little bit. That pissed her off. But she deserved it. You're wearing 2 of those, are you? You feel more safe? The whole world, with anybody with half a brain, agrees that the whole world is just running on stupid fumes. And it is. And there's a reason for that. You have unintelligent people with no wisdom, no common sense. They never learned anything. They don't know how anything works. To the average human being, a simple radio was like a magical device. You know, if you traveled back in time to caveman device, you know, they would like get scared and think it was a ghost inside the radio, and then they'd smash it with a hammer. Modern human beings are a little different than that. They don't really know how a radio works. They don't know. You know, if you told a college-educated kid there are quantum gluons that run a radio. So yes, the radio works off of quantum gluon quasi-particles. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's literally how dumb people are. If I went down to college and I said, "Excuse me, we're giving out $10 bills." I said, "Here to anybody, you know, do you know about radio systems running off of quantum gluon particles?" "Yes." "And there's a tachyon antenna." It's like, "Yes, that's right." That's how dumb people are. It's funny, but that's how stupid people are. And there's a reason why they're that stupid. They spent their whole life memorizing and regurgitating crap. They don't know how anything works. They don't know how to build anything. They don't know how to do anything. So we got a society built upon stupid people now. And when you have a society built upon stupid people, bad things happen. They must by design. So, anyway, I hope you like this video. This is my rant on teachers and how pathetically useless they are in general. So, and have the desire to learn, okay? And learn the good stuff. Life is too short to read garbage or to study it. Thanks.